50 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
is that kind of mind-blowing, that you have this retrospective?
It is. It's terribly mind-blowing when you think about 50 years going by as quickly as it has, and then to see it laid out before you like this, or for me, I just I find it intimidating, and I also find it embarrassing in a little way because it's just too much about me, and no, mind you, when I was back in 1970 something, it was all about me, to tell you the truth. But being where I am today and being able to look back at this, I really like the me now. But it took all of that for me to finally get to be here, and I think I'm very fortunate that way. And actually, so now I'm having a blast. Now that it's finally open and the people can see it, I could just live right here for the next 6 months happily. I don't think they would let me, but all I need is water and maybe a hot plate, and I'll be just fine.
Well, you were telling me that a lot of this is stuff, from your house.
Yeah,
That you brought here. The albums, the paintings.
the paintings are all from my house, and so consequently, my house looks like it's very empty right now. But in a way, I think that's good too, because there's a point in your life when you have to really start to pare things down, and this is really helping me to kind of try and figure out what is important to hold on to and what is meant to be passed on. And I think a lot of what's here now is time to be, passed on to students or family members. And my brother Roland has 5 sons. And so the pictures, especially with the two of us together, there's one picture on one wall of me, Roland, and John DeMello. And that picture was taken by a photographer that used to live here in Hawaii named Robert Knight. And Robert now lives, I think, either in Aotearoa or in Australia with his wife. And I keep in touch with him through Instagram. And he said, hey, it's nice to see my pictures on the wall, because he'd call me up and say, what are you doing? We'd go to a party or something, and we'd go back to the studio and he'd take pictures. And it just is so funny to be able to remember people. Oh, I know. I'm going to tell you something that I love. I love to be here by myself, because then I play my piano and it's like they all come off the walls. And you can hear, to me, I hear their voices and I see them talking, and I just dig it. I think it's really, really cool. So this is my little haven right now for the next few months, and I hope people will come and see it.
Well, one thing that I look at the pictures, and when I was talking to Richard earlier about how there's people who know you from the music, there's folks who know you from the halal, and so forth. And I was telling Levi, who's of a younger vintage, shall we say, and explaining some of that, and also looking at pictures of you and like your brother. There's the inextricable link of you and Bose, and sorry, I still call him that.
Yeah.
And
No, and it's okay.
yeah,
People still call me Bose too. And Bo. So I just go, hey.
yeah. But I mean, just looking at that and this journey and the people you've traveled on this journey with, and maybe like Bose, maybe like John DeMello, who maybe not be with us now. What would they think? And would this be something where you could say, hey, look at what we did?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a nice opportunity to, again, talk story, and by doing so, bring them back, to remember them a little bit more, and to keep sharing those great stories. I have so many stories. There's one wall called the Influence Wall, and I had the hardest time going by there because it's so emotionally draining when you're there, because I miss them, and I'm grateful for all of that. But all the music and the hula and just my life in general has been put together really and helped in its fruition by those people on the wall. And I know too that people have their own influential wall. They have their own stories for over 50 years. And I hope that's what this inspires people to do, to tell their stories. Because, it's really easy to believe that nobody wants to hear your stories. And, my father would tell us the same stories over and over again. And when my mother had Alzheimer's, we would get kind of tired of hearing the same stories too. But now I kind of like it a lot. I like that I still have those stories, and I would like for people to tell their stories too and have an opportunity like this.
Well, this is really, even though it's a retrospective and look back at 50 years, you're still looking forward, aren't you?
Oh, and that's what the best thing about this is, that there's sort of a beginning, and then there really is no end, because you're meant to go around and around as many times as you like, and relive it all, and then don't stop, but keep going. And I didn't realize that it was going to be that till we came here for the first time, and I felt that continuation. And I think that the idea of a continuation is a very important thing, not only to honor what's happened already, but what can still come in the future. And that's where now we have this, so that it'll inspire everybody out there to help move all our lives on and keep the stories going.
One final thought.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the influences that I saw, like in his name up there. I have some of a very loose lineage with her because she was the kumu for my fourth grade teacher, taught me how to pronounce Hawaiian words correctly in fourth grade. But
And you do very well. I've heard you. Yeah, I like it all these years.
but the thing too is that I'm sure you have that influence wall, and you're showing up, no doubt, on other people's influence walls in their minds. How does that feel?
Interesting. Sometimes, the kids now are so smart. They're so smart. So, like, a young kid will come up and talk to me in a Hawaiian that is it's nothing like what I learned to get to where I am today, because the rules have changed from a language that was considered dead to now a living language. And, when I think about being able to speak two languages, when I was a young kid, I was going to school at Honganji Mission, and the whole school would go to Japanese class, language, or to the temple. And I couldn't go because I wasn't a Buddhist, and then I didn't speak Japanese, but I always wondered, why couldn't I speak Japanese, And then later on, even when I was at high school, speaking Hawaiian wasn't that important, and it wasn't encouraged. But now when the kids talk to me, it's like, and I can understand. If I can understand, I just find that all, again, a part of the continuation. And if somehow, in some way, I was able to help that, then let's keep that going, I'm very, I guess, I say it over and over again, but gratitude has just taken over as a big part of my life right now. So 50 years and going, filled with gratitude. It's the best way to go.